This brings the total number of hostages released by Hamas to 4. Do you expect we can see more?
I think that Hamas will continue dribbling out. Of course, 4 down, there are still 218 by Israeli count being held by Hamas. I think that what Hamas is trying to do, it's the typical cynical stunt they pull. We've seen this by them and people in Lebanon for many years. Will be to try to block any action against them, particularly an Israeli ground offensive, in order to save themselves to fight Israel another day. I don't think it will work, but of course, this is a very emotional issue for everybody involved, beginning with the families of the hostages who were released and those who are still held.
When you joined us on Bloomberg about a week and a half ago, Ambassador, you made it clear that saving hostages was not the top priority for Israel as Israel prepares for a ground operation in Gaza. Now that we've seen these 4 released, how do you feel today?
I will stand by that. As cruel as it is, it isn't that it isn't important for Israel. They want to recover as many as possible. It's one reason they'll do the military offensive. But for Israel, the most important thing is to destroy Hamas as a military threat. Think of us after 9/11. It was to destroy al-Qaeda as a military threat, or in the operation I was involved in, the Islamic State terrorist group in Iraq and Syria, which controlled 9 million people. It was to destroy them. They held hostages, as we know. They held whole cities.
Well, sir, how do you destroy Hamas when their political leadership is housed by an ally in Doha and a NATO ally when they're in Istanbul?
The answer is you can't completely destroy them. What you can do is, and I'll give you the span, you can either hurt them so badly as Israel did Hezbollah, Lebanese Hezbollah, the Iranian offshoot organization in southern Lebanon in 2006, that for 17 years they haven't done anything dramatic against Israel. Or you can go as far as we did with the Islamic State. There are still thousands of Islamic State fighters in cells all over Iraq and Syria, but they don't pose an existential threat to either Iraq or Syria. They don't hold terrain. They don't have 35,000 fighters under their control as they did in 2015. So it's something like that. It isn't total destruction. The Israelis say they'll get them all, but they won't. But they will get enough. That's their plan.
Well, you've referred to it a couple of times, Ambassador. You were special presidential envoy for the global coalition to defeat ISIS. There are obviously nuances that separate these 2 missions, but is this not the same job?
It is pretty much the same job, with the difference that ISIS was isolated. Nobody supported ISIS. They had some sympathy, but not very much in the Arab world. They were very powerful, particularly in Syria. But again, it was many of the same things. They fought in major cities such as Mosul, Raqqa, and Dar ez-Zor. Civilian casualties were horrendous, far greater all in all than what we've seen in Gaza so far, and they held hostages. We didn't have to worry about escalation because nobody would come in on their side. The major difference now is Iran and its surrogate in southern Lebanon, Lebanese Hezbollah, are at least threatening to intervene. I don't think they will, because I think President Biden has taken the right steps by putting an extremely powerful military force in the region and making it clear he will fight if they intervene.
Well, on Iran, NSC Strategic Communications Coordinator John Kirby spoke with reporters about Tehran's involvement earlier today.
We know Iran continues to support Hamas and Hezbollah. And we know that Iran is closely monitoring these events and in some cases actively facilitating these attacks and spurring on others who may want to exploit the conflict for their own good or for that of Iran. We know Iran's goal is to maintain some level of deniability here, but we're not going to allow them to do that.
You mentioned the Biden administration and their reaction to all of this. We're seeing a much stronger force posture, 2 carrier strike groups in the Eastern Mediterranean, 1 moving towards the command center. But at the same time, they're seeing an uptick on U.S. bases in Iraq and Syria. Houthis, also backed by Iran, was sending over a missile towards Israel before the weekend that a destroyer intercepted. Is the administration doing enough to deter Tehran?
Yes, let me put this in perspective. what Iran, the Houthis, Hezbollah, and other Iranian surrogates are doing is what is normal in the Middle East, what Israel had seen previously with Hamas, what it saw in 2006 with Hezbollah, which is this back and forth of minor military strikes and military maneuvers. And then the United States, as my friend Admiral Kirby just did, condemns Iran and calls them out, as he says, but we're not going to bomb Tehran over this, because we will be able to tolerate this as we have many other times. The big issue is, will they intervene militarily? Will Hezbollah have tens of thousands of troops cross the border in a bigger version of what we saw on the 7th of October? Will they launch their 150 to 170,000 rockets and missiles at Israel? Will Iran fire its long-range missiles? That is, will they engage in a real war? I don't think so, because I believe that the United States has made clear it will stop anything they try to do against Israel.
What then do you make of the decision to reposition the Eisenhower strike group, Ambassador? Annmarie just referred to two of them now, one in the Eastern Med. The Ike is apparently headed to the Middle East. What is the Pentagon seeing down the road where that would be necessary?
They're pulling in every bit of naval power they can, in addition to the two aircraft carriers. And importantly, they have something like 12 cruisers and destroyers that have that same anti-missile capability that we just saw in the U.S. destroyer shooting down missiles and drones in the Red Sea. They're also pulling in what's called an ARG, an amphibious ready group. That's 3 other ships, including essentially a small aircraft carrier with 2,000 Marines, and they're readying additional forces. They've sent possibly 40 or 50 more fighter planes to the region, more air defenses. They're getting ready to fight if they have to, for real, not just tit for tat and that kind of thing as we've seen before. This is a major, major military deployment, and it is designed to avoid a major war, and it is absolutely the right thing to do. Credit to them.